Alright, third try lucky. So I'm just chilling on the pool as if it's like a spa. We got a nice bit of mobile timber here. So I've turned my Wi-Fi off and we've just gone mobile data. We'll see if that works better. Sorry, mobile plan. You're gonna get chewed today. Oh, there's a fish under my foot. Oh shit. We really need to clean the skimmer while we're here. It's full of leaves. I guess that's what it's made for, but. Oh, there's still heaps in there. That was a horrible job at cleaning the skimmer. We'll just take them out by hand. Seems like a good idea. Alright, so I don't know what I'm going to do here. I'll probably delete the other two live streams and keep this one up, maybe. I don't know. We're just hanging out with the fish, actually. Oh, it's so hard to walk around. I'm sliding like nothing else. Anyway, I was actually trying to talk about something. So, no, I'm going to slide backwards. Hang on, we'll get over there somehow. I'm a bit worried about getting my phone underwater because it was waterproof, but I smashed the back. And also my lens cover on the back is cracked. That's kind of why I wanted to buy a new camera. Oh, what was that? Oh, there's a bit of hair aggie down there. Elephant ears. Got like this dead shit. I don't know if it's like a disease or something, or whether it's just from that water splashing there and like hitting it and like creating like little water droplet magnifying glass thingies and burning it. Who knows? There's a man. I'm trying to walk. It's not working. I'm gonna go back up here so I can hold on to the glass. Even though I'm like trying to put it in and I'm sliding backwards. You guys there? I can't see any comments. Well. Oh, cool. Can you hear me? I'll move that back a bit. That isn't comfy. I'll take that back. I feel like live streaming in the pond was a bad idea. I'm like sliding backwards down the pond. Cool, that's better. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with the Wi-Fi because I think I've got like 2 access points and the phone was like flicking between the two and disconnecting me. Maybe for the next live stream, I might get a camera for my computer. It doesn't have to be a good one. I wonder if I can actually set up my Osimo as a live feed to my computer. I don't know. One thing I wish I had the GoPro for, GoPro Hero 8, you can actually live stream straight to YouTube from the camera. But there was too many negatives for me to think about. There was 2 positives that I wish I had. It's the live streaming and also it's got the smart hyperlapse. So like the video slows down itself and like captures parts that are more movement at a slower rate and then speeds itself back up. But you can do that with editing software anyway. don't know where the koi are literally sitting in the corner. They haven't taken any notice of me here. Maybe we could feed the koi while we're in the pond. Let's do that. Negatives for the GoPro Hero 8. It's got the shoes on the bottom to mount to the handle are shit. They look quite fragile. The lens cover isn't removable, so if you scratch or damage it, you have to send the GoPro back. Whereas the Osmo, it screws on and off. I can put a polarized filter on it, so I can take videos of the pond and stuff. The Osmo Action has a front screen, so when you're vlogging, you can see yourself in the screen. Make sure that your footage is nice and center. And the GoPro Hero 8 doesn't have an external microphone mount yet, whereas the Osmo does, which I've actually got. I just haven't got the cord for it yet. So those were my key points. As for like video quality, I think the 4K recording on the GoPro is better, but I'm not recording at 4K. We're recording at 1080p. And the Osmo was cheaper, which is always a good point. But I've actually, even though the camera was $500, I think I've spent nearly $300 in accessories already. So my vlogging rigs end up costing me close to $800. Nah, the Osmo Action, it's more like the GoPro. I'm pretty sure the Osmo Pocket was a bit of a not a good seller from what I've read online. It's not waterproof was the main problem with it. But the Pocket would be handy, like shopping center vlogs. Hint, hint. It's actually not a bad idea. Maybe try pick up a secondhand Osmo Pocket. It's not Osmo, it's Osmo. My bad. But yeah, it's pretty much identical to a GoPro. I just wanted that front screen. That was like the selling point for me. I was literally standing in the shop with both of them in front of me, and I couldn't make a decision. And then I got home with the Osmo Action, and I got some like light flickering in the house, and I was freaking out. Like I was ready to take the camera back. And then I did a bit of YouTubing, and it turns out you just had to change the settings. And the GoPro is exactly the same in indoor light situation. So I think I made the right choice. If I ever feel like I didn't, I just go on YouTube and watch negative reviews on the GoPro. Makes me feel better. Let's see if we can feed the koi. I don't know what the temp the pond is. It's colder than you would think, even though how hot it's been. But I guess because it's so deep, I'd say it's probably like 22 degrees. It's I reckon it's warmed up, but in the last 3 days. All right, I'm gonna end up getting water in the food. Can you guys see how slippery it is? And then there's like all the little burrs on the fiberglass on the bottom, like shredding my feet because I didn't sand it properly. All right, you ready? They're not going as crazy as they normally do. Oh, here we go. One just slammed into me. Now my koi are going to get bloat. Oh, there's one on my back. The food is like sticking to me and the koi are trying to suck the food off me. Did you see that? Oh, I don't think that was on camera. I nearly made one jump out. I went to pick it up. It's a bad idea. So yeah, I think I'll put the filter video out tomorrow. I might put it out tonight. I think tomorrow, but after this, I just want to have a bit of chill time. Today's weather really just knocked me around. It'll be a good video. I had fun filming it. I was filming till like 8:30 last night. I don't know when I'm going to do an update on the display tank inside. Nothing's really changed. I'm going to put some Amazon sword in the tank soon. I got to go see Ash from PCS. He's got some Amazon sword for me. Once I put that in, I might do an update. And the other thing I want to do, I need to get a new, I need to get my CO2 system fixed. One of the O-rings is gone in the bottle regulator, so it leaks. So I want to do those two things, and we'll do an update on it. Other than that, nothing's changed in it. It's not very. I wouldn't say it's not an exciting tank, but it's not a content-worthy tank. Okay, Matt. The koi don't seem phased at all, eh? I was going to try to pick one up, but usually when I pick one up, one ends up on the ground because they jump out of my hands. Oh, you guys got to see this. I don't know why it does it. See how the skimmer basket is spinning? Every time I clean the basket, it does that for hours. I'm not quite sure why. So, also over there, yeah, see my weeds? Where's my finger? There. No, there. That's weird. Anyway, I got some nice big weeds. They're not growing out of the ground. They're actually growing out of my filter. I guess weeds aren't fussy about their growing medium. So they're just growing on shade cloth. Oh. Yeah, the fish definitely aren't scared because I keep feeling them fly past me. Someone was asking me whether I get nervous swimming with the koi. Definitely not. The koi don't bother me. I don't know why they would bother anyone. They're pretty harmless. Don't mind me. I'm just pulling my pond apart. So I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but just along this edge, there's Sikaflex, and for some reason, the Sikaflex didn't stick to the fiberglass. So I've actually got to drop this pond level one day and redo it. So like where the water level is, you're not going to be able to see it, right there. Where the water level is on the edge there, this is about as high as it can go at the moment. I used to have it up here, so it was only just below the glass, and it looked cool because it made it look like the pond was borderless along the edge there. Whoa, I'm sliding. So I do like the water level higher. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to fiberglass all the way to the top edge of the timber. That way there's no chance of it ever leaking. Because the actual timber's got gel coat on it. So I'll just sand that back and fiberglass it all the way up. It'll only be a couple of hour job. It's just finding the time. What? It's not even the time. It's the motivation. I hate fiberglassing. Oh, the Gemini. I should really do it soon, eh? My main problem is the heat, but it's that season, isn't it? It's the season to take it out, so it actually doesn't need that much work to finish it. I've got to finish mounting the radiator, which I've cut it all out, and there's a brace along the bottom to mount the radiator on. All I've got to do is weld 2 tabs on the bottom and make some bracketry for the top. I kind of need somebody with a VN Commodore that can cut the tabs off this front end. I want to weld in the factory VN tabs and get the rubbers and those 2 clips so I can clip the radiator in on its factory mounts because it is a VN radiator. And we need to move the diff mounts. It's got like a homemade 4-link in the rear end, and the top links are pointing up, so they're too high, and the bottom ones are like that, so they're pointing up parallel. Oh, I'm sliding. So I need them to point towards each other because at the moment, as the suspension goes down, the diff twists and it pushes the yoke into the body of the car and the tail shaft. It was actually completely running and driving, but there was a few things I wasn't happy with. So like 4 years ago, I actually decided to pull it apart and then I never put it back together. I also got a whole new front end for it. Yeah, the pinion. Yeah, so when you plant it, the pinion hits the body. So yeah, they're the 2 main things. And then it's just like radiator hoses, connecting finishing off the wiring. All the wiring's done. It's just like sensors, like the oil temp sensor, oil pressure sensor, water temp sensor. I actually lost a part, the speed sensor for the gearbox because it's got a autometer speedo in it, but we don't need speedo for burnouts. So I don't. Apparently, you can buy like a GPS module for them, so I might do that. But yeah, it's not a huge list. I need to get a few noodles, like the pool noodles, and pad up all the roll cage. It's got Chinese fuel pumps in it at the moment. I want to change them to Bosch 440s. I don't want to mess around with shitty fuel pumps, really. So there's like a few things I put in it when I first built it that I regret, and I think that's what kind of held me up on the project, is that I had to take steps backwards, and that pissed me off. Oh, it needs mufflers too. It's got no mufflers at the moment. These are all like things that are for Motorplex, because I want to take it to Motorplex. It needs paint one day, but we can do burnouts without paint. Look, that thing's still going. It's weird how it spins. Kind of like those bobbleheads, you know, that keep moving somehow. But like I can put the basket back in, hold it dead still, and walk away, and it starts spinning again. So I have thought about taking that there, but she wants to take it to Power Cruise next year. So the plan is I'll take the Gemini, she'll take the Falcon. Her car, we're just going to do injectors, downpipe, intake, and tune. And it should be a like 400 horsepower car. That'll be plenty for her. You know, it's quicker than the Gemini, in fact, but the Gemini is a lot lighter. Yeah, I think the mods list that I want to do, I've got it written down. It maxes out at like 420 horsepower at the wheels, from what I've heard. That'll be pretty cool for her. Not many chicks drive around a 400 horsepower car. And I'm pretty sure I'll get better fueling on like long drives if I do get it tuned. I wouldn't mind getting an airflow meter as well for it. Maybe head studs, just do one at a time. Don't want to get too carried away. And you guys should see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, how much bark is on my lawn. Like, trees are sick, but that's too much trees. I need to get them cut down. There. That's my shed. My shed's pretty. I'd say the top of them's 17 meters, maybe. Yeah, so I'm doing the value packs of the cichlids, but I changed the price. I did that first day I advertised them at 50 each, but I couldn't justify selling. I don't sell my fish till 3 to 4 centimeters, pretty much 4 to 5. I don't really sell anything smaller than 4 centimeters. And I can't justify $3 each. I know Jason does it, and he does like 2 to 3 centimeters, and that makes it justifiable, the price. But I don't know. Maybe if I do end up with a few Patreons and bit of money coming in that way, I can do the packs cheaper. I was kind of hoping that through YouTube I could get some sponsors for food as well, which I am in the talks with. Well, it's pretty much a deal. I just haven't organised it, and just that'll bring my fish room costs down, and I can just sell them cheaper, give them to mates for free, and that sort of thing. I enjoy the hobby. I don't enjoy the sales. So my idea with YouTube is less sales. Yeah, I did. I started a Patreon today. It's just patreon.com/Rumbles Fish Room without the comma. I don't know what I'm going to do on the Patreon yet to make it worthwhile for people to subscribe. I'm thinking about every patron that signs up gets a free Rumbles Fish Room sticker delivered, for sure. That's a definite. And then I'm thinking about doing like a weekly video on Patreon that is like something, I don't want to say more personal, but something not related to anything on YouTube, just to make it worthwhile for people. And then I may even do live streams on the Patreon. I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing a podcast, but the thing is, I need people to podcast with. I can't just do one myself. Make you a mod of what? The Patreon. Yeah, man, no worries. Send me a message. I generally try to reply to everyone. Facebook, YouTube comments I miss. I read them all, but sometimes I don't reply. Like if I'm at work and I read the comment, I don't reply while I'm working, but I do read them, if that makes sense. And then I forget to when I get home. So if you do have a serious question, it's easier to do it on Facebook. I visit Facebook more than I visit the YouTube comments. Oh, I don't know how to make you a mod. I have the Patreon link. Let's see, clipboard. I'm pretty sure I can post it while we're here. Hey, yeah. I'm so scared to like press the screen because like imagine like a phone screen and then this is I've got like a computer screen on my phone screen, so everything is tiny. Oh, cool, bro. I'm glad about that. I try to help out where I can. That's kind of where my whole YouTube channel started, was people were asking. I would post. I'll use this as an example. I'd post a post on Facebook saying that my power bill in the middle of winter was $550, and people would comment saying they didn't believe me. So that's just one example. So then I thought, if I start documenting on YouTube, like everything I'm doing, like you can't accuse me of lying if it's on video. But yeah, so that's one of the reasons I started vlogging. And also I watched quite a few vlogs, and I don't know, I just idolize a couple of them. And I always wanted to be kind of like them, but I obviously know there's no way my channel's going to end up at the magnitude of some of them. Yeah, Jason. I know I use your power bill as an example all the time. Like people are like, how much is your power bill? I'm like, $550, and they're like, oh, that's a lot. And I'm like, oh, my mate who has the same size fish room, last year his power bill was $1,500. So that's like my comparison. It'll be interesting to see what the power bill does adding those IBCs. They've only got 200 watt heaters in them and they're sitting on 28. So I'm pretty sure those 200 watts won't be doing much, but we'll see what the power bill says when we get it. So funnily enough, I don't watch any fish channels. I watch a bit of Perth cichlids and a bit of Thirsty Rabbit, but other than that, I do want to start watching more because I want to collab more with Australian fish vloggers, and I think to collab I need to watch their channels more so I can like relate to them, you know what I mean? But I watch car channels, Cletus McFarlane, Boosted Boys, PFR Speed, Taylor Ray, Rice and Martia, and Tommy F. Yeah, they're the main ones I watch. That's pretty good power bill for 25 tanks. I actually don't think I have many more than 25. Is that a B? But my smallest tank is 200 liters. Most of my tanks are 250 liters, and then they go up from there. The biggest one's 5,000, which is the Raypon. There's a few 500 liter tanks in there, and then there's the 7 foot, which is 1,000 liters. Oh, there's two 7 foots. One's 1,000 liters. The other one's, I think, around 600. 7 by 2 by 18. Maybe, nah, maybe that's only 500. I think that's 500. I got some odd size tanks in there. So I had a fish tank when I was a teenager. It just was like a real ignorant tank with like angelfish and electric yellows and clown loaches, you know, just like I was in Dunsborough, so it was like everything the local pet shop had. I sold that tank when I was, I don't know, probably 20. And then when I was 24, so probably 6 years ago, nah, longer than that, 23, 7 years ago, my missus moved in with me. When she moved out of her parents' house, she left her fish tank at their parents' house. And then like 3 months after she moved in, she was like, I miss my fish tank. And I was like, well, let's get a fish tank. And then I built an 8 foot straight after that. So my first fish tank when I was like proper fish keeping was 8'7" by 2'7" by 2'7", and I built it myself. And even when I set up the 8 foot, I had Africans, and I had a few green Texas fire mouths. I don't think I had clown loaches in that one. But yeah, it was only like 6 months down the road that I started pulling like the green Texas and that out. There was another American in there, I can't remember what it was. And I was one of those people, you know, they're like, oh yeah, but the fish are fine. And now I look back, like the green Texas had crazy stress bars and stuff. When I look back at photos, like they weren't happy. Yeah, thirsty for my first proper tank. And I built it myself. And I was ignorant too. I put an FX5 canister filter on it, thinking that was enough to filter a 1,500 liter aquarium with like 100 African cichlids in it. So I kept adding canister filters. I added like a Fluval 405, I think it is, a little one, and then I added like an eBay 1800, and like it just wasn't working. So that's when I built my first sump. I built a 4 foot sump for it, and then I moved house and I decided I wanted a new stand for it. So I built a new stand with a 8 foot sump in it, and that was kind of my introduction to bigger filters are better. I love how you guys just call him Perth. Whenever I see that, I'm like, what are you referring to? Yeah, I love the Sun-Suns. I've got one at the moment. I actually don't know if it's a Sun-Sun, but it's like the same eBay ripper. I do want to get rid of it, and the only reason is it's plumbed in with my Nautilus 2700, and they're wired into the same pipe, and the 2700 takes over. There's not enough equal pressure, so I do want to run twin 2700s. All right, I'll see you in a minute, mate. My favorite are the 2700s, the aqua ones. Simply because you can get them secondhand for $50. But overall, I hate canister filters. I absolutely hate them. I'm thinking about doing a DIY tub sump for that tank, but I can't because I want to run CO2 on it, and you can't run CO2 with a sump. So I think we're going to go with twin 2700s when I can find another cheap one. I don't want to pay more than like $80 because I'm that cheap. But obviously the best filters are airlift filters. Let's go have a look. So I'm not going to be able to see what I'm filming. I wonder if I can switch cameras. I think that's too dangerous. We're not switching cameras, guys. Oh, this is like the mucky corner on my feet. There's bees. What's this? Can you guys see that? There's like a tree growing out of the pump. I don't think that's a weed. That looks like a miniature tree to me. Do you guys know what that is? Yeah, so the koi have bumped into me a few times. Check out all the spider webs. In case you guys can't tell, I don't kill the local spiders because I hate bugs. I hate flying bugs, and the spiders stop the flying bugs. Anyone who tells you you can't run... Where's the camera? There. Anyone who tells you can't run a big tank off air, show them this. So there's no pumps in there, that's just air. I can actually get more out of these if I want. That's only running on an LP40. You can put up to 80 litre pump on that, and it'll go up to like close to 20,000 litres per hour. I think like the guys that did the research on it, they got the 100 mil airlifts up to 19,000 litres per hour. Any race sun pump is awesome. My LP100, what's his name? I can't remember his name. That's a bit embarrassing. James has got my LP100 in Mandurah, and I bought that secondhand off Andrew Holmes like 4 years ago, and I think he had it for like 2 or 3 years, and I changed the diaphragms in it once, and I think when James bought it, I gave him a set of diaphragms, and he changed them when he bought it because the ones in it were about 2 years old, just as a preventative. So yeah, the LP100, great pump. I've had an FX6, and it used to cut out for priming every 24 hours, and sometimes it wouldn't turn back on. And I actually had to take the pump off the side and put it back on, and it would work. And I've got no idea. Like, I couldn't find anything jamming or anything. I don't know why it was doing it, but it did it from brand new. I should have taken it back, really. Yeah, so with the Suns, they're great, but the plastics are brittle. So if you treat them like a cheap filter, they last, if that makes sense. I see heaps of comments, people saying like, oh, Sun's just shit, the plastic snaps. Be gentle and it won't snap. So LP100 will run, I think, 50 sponge filters. So you got 2 in a tank, so 25 tanks. Obviously that's a big variable. My fish room here, I was running an LP100 and an LP60, and they were struggling to keep up. But my room, my filters are very air dependent. So I've got a pump. It's called GF-180C. It's a blower and it's 500 liters per minute. So it's 5 times the size of an LP100. Or 4 times the size, sorry, because it's 120 liters. Yeah, exactly. You got to just treat them with respect. And grease the O-rings. Like I don't know if you guys saw the video on the 2700 that I've got. The O-rings were squashed, so most times canister filters, they're leaking and stuff. You just got to play around with them. I made those little shims and it stopped leaking. I'm pretty sure the cheapest place to get LP100 would be maybe TechDen or eBay. Is the HW5000 that new one that looks like the FX6? Yeah, I don't drive my canister filters like I stole them. Yeah, I've seen photos of that. It looks like it might be a good filter. Oh, really? You've had it for months? I thought they'd only like literally just been released. Maybe I should get one and do a product review. I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing some product reviews, but I'm broke ass. I was going to say the N word. We won't say that word. So yeah, the vlogging camera sent me broke. So not broke, but I've got fish money and then I've got house money. And if I keep them separate, it keeps the missus happy. And I can buy more fish if I budget right. Nah, my new camera doesn't support live streaming. I could probably plug it into my computer and sit it on the computer, but there's not much point. I just use my phone. Thirsty, I was saying before, you might not have been here, that the one thing I wish I had the GoPro Hero 8 for is you can live stream straight from the camera to YouTube. $250 delivered. I might have to count my shillings and get one. I think it would be a cool product review. Hey guys, you should help me. See, like, just over there, we've got a 4-foot tank, a standard 4-foot. I don't know what to do with it. I don't want a patio tank because obviously that's ignorant. I've got another standard 4-foot in there. I was thinking about maybe making a rack. I need one more, and maybe we could do a 4-foot shed rack. It's not fish room rack, just shed rack. But we need to get that 8-foot going ASAP. I think I want to build the 8-foot before the ply tanks. And yeah, sorry guys, I haven't worked on the ply tanks. I don't have an excuse. It's hard to get motivated. I just hate fiberglassing, but it's got to be done. If I spent a Saturday, Sunday on it, it would pretty much be ready for glass, like the front glass, and then it would be ready for the fish room. And then I could put them tanks in. I could put the rest of my fry tanks in, and like within a matter of days, I would have 9 more tanks in the fish room, and the fish room would be finished. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't be bothered fiberglassing. You guys pushing me does help, but I could do. I need to get the keys back for work. The problem with fiberglassing at this time of year is the temperature and wearing a respirator and stuff. So I think maybe I could be doing the glass at like 5 in the morning before work, because each tank, it would only be like a 30-40 minute session to glass one at a time. But yeah, I've got to do it. Yeah, I know it never finishes. That's why it was in commas. So, but the thing is, once those tanks are in, when I say finished, I mean ran out of space. I've got one more spot where I could fit like a 3x2x18, but we'll keep that a secret for now. If I put the tank there, I want to put it on wheels, so I need the wheels to be weight rated for 3x2x18. Must be 300 kilos, 400 kilos. No, I can't make the whole shed a fish room. I got too many cars. I've got 4 cars. Stock trolley wheels. I don't know what they are, but I'm guessing they're like the trolleys we use at work for like carting cabinets and shit around. I'm pretty sure those wheels are rated at like 150 kilos each. So that'd be, if you'd put 4 of them on there, that'd be a 600 kilo trolley. Nah, no more sheds, guys. I have thought about insulating the garden shed, but I need more sales to to make that feasible. But no, actually no, I'm telling bullshit. The back shed is storage. There's no way we're using that for fish. I don't really need to watch a vid to make a cheap rack. I've got timber at work. It's actually probably too nice to make a rack out of. I've got some American oak sitting at work, so it'd be a cheap, expensive rack. No shed extensions. But my shed floor has footings for a hoist, a car hoist. So if I buy a hoist, I gain a whole car space in my shed, which would mean the space from my current fish room to the cars would be 6 meters. So it'd be like 6 by 6 meters of space. Yeah, I've got the Gemini, and then next to the Gemini is the XK Falcon. If I want to do extensions, we'll go up 6 high racks with, like, you know, those like library ladders that slide across. Someone came over the other day and they were like, "Oh my god, how do you reach the top tanks?" And I was like, "I don't. I use a ladder." One of my tanks is actually 20 inches high, and I didn't think about that when I built the rack. So it's at the top, and it's only like 180 mil away from the ceiling. Yeah, we can't sell the Gemini. That needs a space in the shed. We could set up IBCs with a ramp, and then the Gemini drives up and parks on top of the IBCs. That would take the way they're designed. They're designed to have 1,000 kilos on top of each one. That's an ingenious idea. Yeah, Gemini runs. it just doesn't drive at the moment. We're not putting a 13B in it. It used to have a 500 horsepower G200, I think it is. No, I don't know what the Rodeo 2.4 liter. G200 is the original, is the Gemini 2 liter. But yeah, so when I bought it, it was a drift car, and the guy blew the diff up and sold it as a roller with a blown diff. And he took the motor out and put it back in a Rodeo. He put it in an aluminium tray Rodeo. I couldn't imagine that getting any traction. I think my food. So I get my, what do you call it? NLS Sierra A and NLS Grow. I get from Paul at Morley Aquariums, and I just trade fish in for that. And extreme fish food. I got from livefish.com.au. I'm friends with one of the owners of that, and he gave me a good deal on that. The Ray food I just get off eBay, which I've noticed isn't on eBay anymore, and that really sucks because I've only got like a kilo left. What other foods have we got? Hikari I get from City Farmers because it's literally like the cheapest place. Oh no, now my phone's going flat. Hikari, sinking gold. I've got Hikari blood parrot red, but I don't really feed it. Yeah, so Hikari's cheaper at City Farmers than it is on it online. I got it on sale for like the big bags. I can't remember how many grams they are. I think they're like 180 grams or 200. I got them on special for $14 each or something. I bought like 6 bags. I was thinking about maybe trying the flower horns on New Life Spectrum Sierra A 6mm pellets, but I don't know. I don't get caught up in all that flower horn food. Flower horn Den, the old breeder, all he used to feed was Hikari, so that's what I do. City Farmers is like, have you got Pet City over there? Basically, like your chain store, pet shop, pet barn, yeah, same shit. Yeah, I'd love to try them on Extreme. The problem with Extreme is I've been talking to, I can't remember his name, one of the guys at Aquarium Industries, who's the importer of the Extreme food, and they're not importing it anymore. So I've actually just put in an order for like 5 kilos of Extreme food. That's another reason I'm broke, because I've got to pay for that. But the person who, I'm not ordering it through AI. I'm actually ordering it through a place called Kareen Pet Shop up north of Perth. He reached out to me and said if he knew I fed it, and if I wanted it, he would give it to me for the wholesale price, which is cool. So I'm actually going to go up there, pick up the food, and do a bit of a walkthrough of the shop. I think it's only a little sole trader fish store. Not fish store, pet store. Yeah, so LS is now cheaper than a 5 litre. When I first built the car, LS was more expensive. And the reason it's a 5 litre is because the 5 litre came with a built turbo 350 gearbox, and I actually bought the combo for the gearbox because he wouldn't separate it. And so I figured I would just put the 5 litre in and run some NOS through it until it blows up, and then I'll just drop an LS in. All the tunnel and everything has already been cut, so it just means that LS will pretty much drop straight in. Obviously, there's a little bit of wiring. Nah, I don't want to turbo 5 litre. I have considered it, like just doing my own backyard manifolds, but if I turbo it, it puts me in the blown class at the burnout comps. I don't want that. Just too much hassle. I want it to be simple, turnkey, take it and have fun. Nah, definitely not hard to make, but just it's for it's mainly for burnouts. So yeah, I'm in the koi pond. If I start turboing it, I don't want to play with the big boys. Pretty much, I just want to stay in the NA class. No sneaky turbos. And it was, yeah, I don't know. I don't really trust the car to have that much power. Oh, you do, Julian? I've never actually been there, so I'm gonna go have a look. Oh man, everyone needs to talk to me about getting back into flower horns. I get so many messages asking if I have any for sale, and that's why I'm trying to get these IBCs running as quickly as possible because I can't grow them fast enough. So I'm actually thinking about building a DIY belt feeder. And for you who don't know what a belt feeder is, it'll be like a belt and you put the food on top of it in the morning, and through the day the belt slowly drops the food in, and we'll see how fast we can grow them. Yeah, Ryan, that's him. So I've got to go down and meet him. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of the flower horns. It's all thanks to my mate Brett. He's the one that bought them in. He's the one that got them off Fat Boy Flower Horns originally. And he wanted out of the hobby, so I bought him out. We were a partnership. So now I've landed with the stock. Yeah, I could just use like an Eheim auto feeder every 2 hours, but I'd rather build a belt feeder. I don't know, something about it fascinates me. I've never dived into like motor mechanics, like electronic motor mechanics, so I really want to try that. But I've got no idea how to do it, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. Yeah, I can ship flower horns. Like I say, it's literally just the fact that I've got none left. I had about 15 to sell, and I sold like 14 of them and then got stuck with one for ages. And then that last one sold about 2 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, since I sold that one, everybody's asking me if I've got any more, which is always the way, isn't it? So yeah, speaking of the Patreon, I don't know if you guys noticed yesterday when I was talking about getting donations, how uncomfortable I felt filming it, and I don't like the idea of putting up a PayPal and getting money for nothing. At least with the Patreon, if you guys sign up, I'll make sure that there's something there that is like worthy of you signing up. Like there's content that you're getting like bang for your buck, if you know what I mean. So generally the flower horns with the girls, I'd say they start at $100 and go up to 400 maybe. Nah, maybe 300. And then with the boys, I'd say start at 200. And I don't know how high they're going to go. I don't know what's going to happen breeding the imports with the Australian female. We'll see what they throw, but they'll go for anywhere up to say $600. Oh, that's cool, Reaper. So I got a fat boy, and it was meant to be a girl, but it's turned out to be a boy. So I am actually considering selling that. Yeah, so I really want to breed Thai silks, but I lost my Thai silk female. So like a camp, the King Kong, oh not King Kong, the VRP camphor in Thailand are going for up to like $1,000 US in Thailand where they originate. So obviously I'm not going to make a VRP camphor, but if my camphor does throw really nice fish, there's no reason that I can't put like international price tags on it, you know what I mean? What is the time? 6 p.m. and we've got 9% battery left. I'll probably jump off when it gets down to 5%. I don't know what Elsa would be worth overseas. I know over here she's worth he is worth a lot of money. But he hasn't shown his fertility yet, so. Charles Fry are looking awesome. They're probably like 3.5, 4 centimeters now. The Charles' first batch is only 8 fish, and it's crazy how much faster a batch of 8 fish is growing than a batch of like 300. So Charles' batch has overtaken Monado's batch in size. Only the OGs will know who Monado is, but so basically my overseas ones, which are about 2 months younger than the Australian ones, are actually already bigger. So yeah, it's pretty funny how I was like disappointed that it was a small batch, but a batch of 8 is actually probably not that bad a thing for me at this stage, because now the second batch is big, but the first batch is enough for me to get like a select female out and grow her as quick as possible to breed back with Charles. Well, actually, if I could get a select female out of Charles' batch, I would be breeding it with Elsa, because Charles has got camphor traits. Elsa is a camphor, so I would have more chance of getting camphor in the fry. Yeah, so I plan on doing more live streams. So the reason I hadn't done one before is I was waiting till the channel has like a bigger following and more people that will actually watch the live stream. I didn't want to sit here in a chat group with one person. And I think I'll definitely do some live streams on the Patreon as well. But I kind of want to figure out a way to make them different, you know, like we've got YouTube live streams and then the Patreon, there's something special about it. No, not taking my clothes off. So, in short, I don't know what Charles is. When the overseas fish came into the country, they weren't labeled. They were literally just mixed up, if you know what I mean. So we think, well, not we think, the guy I got it off said that Charles is a red magma flower horn. Which I've done a bit of research, and all the traits on him do seem true to that. And so that's an SRD strain, and I couldn't say whether it's cross Thai silk. He does have heavy pearling, but it doesn't look like any of the fry are Thai silk yet, but we have to wait and see, I guess, because the pearling will come over the script. But I'm 60% sure there's no pearls in the fry, so that would lead me to believe that no, he's not cross a silk. But he has heaps of camphor traits. So I don't really know how to explain it properly, but my friend Zach, he came over and he's full bottle on it. So there is the chance that it may have been like a red magma male, camphor female, and he would be as what's classed as like a camphor cull. But who knows? They're a hybrid, and we don't know who bred them, and like when they came across, so many different strains came across at the same time. So it's this huge grey area. It was poorly done, to say it shortly. It was just a cash grab by the people doing it, and we were paying lots of money for fish that we don't have a history of. But I hope it works out well. If you look at, I'm not going to name any names, but if you look at one person that's breeding the imports, he's got no history behind the lines. And if you look at the fry, they're coming out shit. And I'm guessing there's not much like line breeding in the background of the fish. Like it's an early generation of the line that he's breeding. So the only place I've seen a purple flame flower horn is in a chain store. I've never actually seen it on the private pages. Well, yes and no. If you look at the Australian bred vampire flower horn, which is the other main one that I have that's Australian, they're bred from overseas flower horn. So the vampire, like F7, and like 10 years ago, or 10 or 8 years ago, illegal imports came in. So they're still based off overseas fish, but they're what's classed as like an Australian flower horn. Like the Australians went for like different shape to the overseas and stuff. All right, guys. I'm going to have to wrap it up there, but because my phone is now on 5%, my screen's almost gone black, and that chewed my battery. So we'll make a note for the next live stream. We're going to have to plug the phone in, or maybe we'll do a computer one next time because this sucks. like on my end. It's so hard to read the comments. Oh, and I've got to cook dinner for the missus. She asked me to cook. I actually do have a battery pack, but I'm just not prepared for that. I've actually ordered like a selfie stick with a battery pack in the handle, so like you just got the little cord which plugs into the side of the camera. That'll be cool when it arrives. I don't know if I can grab a koi. I just fall over. Nah, not a chance, guys. We're not catching koi. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out. What are you saying? Nah, they're movies. Movies, not boobies. All right, I'll check out my Facebook. I'll catch you later. Peace.